God, I'm freaking hungry. Go check the fridge. Dude, where's my freaking corned beef? Hey, wake up. Wake up, you asshole. Wake up.
What?
You ate my freaking corned beef.
What?
You ate my corned beef.
Well, it was in there, and if you put it in there, then it's fair game for anybody who wants to eat it.
Well, maybe this is fair game.
Ow! Hey!
Yeah, that's right. That's a karate chop.
What are you doing?
Well, if you didn't like that, how about this? Kick it!
Well, happy Thursday, my thirsty friends, and more importantly, on this glorious afternoon, happy St. Patty's Day. Woo! That's right, the rest of the year you might be a miserable, sad, sorry sack of mixed inbreeding and unspecialized genetic makeup, but today, my fair-weathered hombres, today, we're all Irish.
Everybody's Irish today.
And what better way to celebrate the Irish culture than hanging out in a brewery?
In one of our favorite breweries.
So welcome for the second time to the illustrious podcast, Aaron and Jamie. Appreciate you guys having us.
Howdy. How are you?
We're doing very well.
Glad to have you in here, guys. Real glad to have y'all in here.
So I'm telling you, last night was tons of fun. And remind us who the music was last night.
Jojo DiSalvo, guy out of Lubbock. Actually, I think Plainview is what he claims.
That's what he claims.
Yeah. So super talented guy. If you guys ever have an opportunity to go out and see him live out there, I know he plays a lot of places in Lubbock. So go throw $1 in his tip jar or something cool like that. He definitely puts on a show.
Yeah, I really enjoyed what he had. It was good times, and had a pretty full crowd last night.
Yeah.
Beer flowed libaciously. And,
Yes, it did.
Even though old Beezy showed his
showed my ass.
his bare rear end to everybody, which was
it was accidental.
I'm not sure it was
To be fair, it was accidental. So the
on
whole
purpose
situation,
or accident. I'm not sure it was appreciated.
So, he was a champ. He did take it begrudgingly on the chin, but he still took it like a champ.
One cheek or both?
Oh, it was the full moon.
Was it?
What an unfortunate set of circumstances.
It really was.
So what happens? I got some beers and I was walking back to the table, and there was a big dude that was sitting at a table with about 6 inches worth of ass crack hanging out.
Okay.
And then I just happened to lock eyes with another guy that was staring hardcore at it.
Oh.
So I set the beers down and I walked over to him and I go, I seen you catching a glance of that ass crack. And then he started laughing his balls off. So then I go sit back down and he goes, Beezy. And then he flipped me off and I said, oh, you want some more? And I was just going to show ass crack, but I wasn't wearing a belt. And and full butt cheek went out.
Okay.
So that's how it went.
Now, did anyone slap your ass?
No,
I am
unfortunately.
disappointed.
I'm disappointed too.
He's got lightning fast.
Jamie
reflexes.
didn't even see it. And he was sitting behind me.
Which is hard to believe.
I'm oblivious.
'Cause-
just
It's
lost.
not something you can easily miss. I mean,
Right.
it's large.
I blew out like an entire zone in that area. there were some casualties.
Well, we've sure enjoyed it, and I tell you that my favorite last night was, of course, the IPA. It's great, but also the coconut stout that we took home with us. We enjoyed that last night watching a movie, and it was primo. And that was
And the FMJ.
Great
and the
choice.
FMJ. Yep, very, very good. So, man, I'm really happy that you guys allowed us to come out. And then remember that the next time we do this, we're going to talk later, and we might even do a live show. And so we would do a little later live show and then a live recording for people there. I'm not sure anybody will enjoy it but us. But, you know.
We have a lot of fun.
More fun to do the live show when we have a bunch of people around heckling.
Well, that's fair.
Throwing tomatoes, and as long as we get beer.
Throwing
out of it.
babies.
Throwing babies.
Throwing roses.
Actually, I'd prefer they threw tomatoes than beer because beer probably would hurt, especially if it's in a can or a bottle.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we threw y'all's beer, it would be a sad waste.
That would be
of pretty
tragic.
good beer.
Troubling.
Pretty
Troubling,
good
yeah.
beer.
No good.
There's a couple of them that I would bathe in. I like them that much.
It's good for the hair.
I mean, I
Makes
hear.
it all shiny and smooth.
Well, if you're
Silky smooth.
if you're listening to this the day of release, it is Patty's Day. So happy Patty's Day. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Stay safe out there. Get you a DD, or maybe don't drive at all. Just stay home or go out, whatever you're going to do. But just be safe.
An Uber.
Get an Uber.
Get an Uber.
Well, Arnold showed up too.
Old Arnie.
And so if you're in the Midland area, you can come out tonight to Eccentric Brewery. Y'all have a concert this evening. Is that correct?
Not tonight. Tonight we have a chocolate tasting. So
No. This is St. Patty's Day.
Killed that. Yes, absolutely. Yes. So yes,
Jamie,
you're
do you
right.
not remember what day we're on?
Fast forward a week ahead of time. That's right. So yes, So we have a Treaty Oak Revival coming in tonight for St. Patrick's Day. These guys are going to rock it if you've never heard them.
What time y'all kind of kick things off?
So music's going to start around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, something like that for that. We have a super flexible schedule around here, so who really knows? But in that window,
Give it a window.
Somewhere in there.
we'll have a food truck on site too.
Nice.
So we'll feed you and wine you and dine you and entertain you.
Yeah,
I believe it's the
Wine
Kitchen
to
by
Dine,
Lori tonight.
69.
Kitchen by Lori.
Kitchen
And
by
she
Lord.
always makes a killer Philly cheesesteak.
Oh, that sounds great. And then tomorrow night, you guys have another group coming in?
We do. We have another group. This will be their debut. It is Hoppy T. Tucker and the Hillbilly Rockers.
That is a great
Love
name.
the name.
Exactly. These guys, same thing. They really rock it out. They're bringing it, and they've been working really hard to get ready for this thing. Like I say, it's their debut concert here. They've come over and done a little picking and grinning here and there. So this is their first real outing. I think it's going to be super exciting.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, if you're in the Midland area, Midland, Odessa, or surrounding towns, you can come out and check these guys out at Eccentric Brewing. And then also online, you can go to eccentricbrewing.com. Is that correct?
That's correct. Eccentric Brewery.
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 Yeah, brewery.
We don't exactly just type in Eccentric B and it should pop up.
Yeah. Hey, just give me a couple more beers and let me try that again.
What is your address out here so folks can look that up?
1402 Cotton Flat Road.
And it kind of feels like when you're driving out here, you feel like you're going in the industrial district and you don't really know if you're going to make it out alive. But once you get in the building, you feel pretty safe.
Oh, yeah.
You do have to cross the tracks to get here.
Literally across the tracks.
Literally.
But when you get in,
Inside the tracks.
there's weapons on the wall.
I
So,
know, it's
you're
awesome.
probably going to be okay.
I
Something
assure you,
goes
we will
awry.
keep you safe.
So come out and check these guys. And if you're not in Midland, now tell me, guys, on the inside track, what's the distribution process looking like? Are we rolling out some stuff around cities in Texas they can find your beers?
Well, we just added a bunch more equipment, and to add that equipment, we actually had to kind of shut down production because, well, we needed empty tanks to be able to move them. You know,
Fair.
they weigh a couple thousand pounds full, and so at the moment we're kind of playing catch up on our production and trying to catch back up and get our par levels for our beer redone, and so I mean, like right now we're kind of out of a couple beers, and that's my bad.
That happens.
It's my fault. Like, buck stops here. But give me a couple weeks, and we'll be back up. We'll be back up to speed and get the pipeline full again, if you will. And distribution should be it's still nicely very even around Midland and Odessa.
Okay.
Hopefully we're getting back up to Lubbock. I know we're on tap at Flipper's Tavern at the moment. They have Pig Slayer and FMJ. Ooh. And then I want to say we're trying to get a couple other spots in Lubbock as well.
Moving that direction. So around Midland, Odessa, we're in somewhere around 35, 40 different restaurants and bars.
Nice.
Great. It's not hard to find us.
Yeah, not hard to find us. And also we are moving into cans more and more.
Right.
So we actually, just as part of this upgrade that we've done, we brought in a much better canning system so we can actually keep up with some of that production. So you can find us on the shelf at HEB. You can find us at Mr. T's, which is a really good spot here in Midland for some craft beer. Great selection. In Odessa, the cellar. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. T's at Big Spring and Cuthbert. Looks like a little neighborhood convenience store, which is exactly what it is. But if you walk in and walk over to his coolers, he has an amazing beer selection. And then it's right on par with the cellar in Odessa, and they're on University, almost right across from UTPB. And both of those guys, the cellar has best beer selection in Odessa. Mr. T's best beer selection in Midland, hands down.
Nice.
You guys are near and dear to our hearts, and as we've been saying since January, y'all are our sponsor, flagship sponsor for the year, and so we sure appreciate you guys very much, and we appreciate the beer that we've had, and man, we've been telling lots of folks about it, and hopefully get y'all some more business, and we appreciate y'all having us here. We are fraternized with these guys. I'm Pastor Pinewood, and across from me is Beezy the Heathen.
The Beezy.
Thankfully not naked today. Appreciate you having clothes on today.
I got clothes on.
That's appreciative.
Rather bummed.
And
I know.
I know everybody comes here for the libations. Before that, let's stay on the wagon and do a little on the wagon articles.
Cool.
Northern Ireland bakes as strange yellow object appears in the sky.
Do what?
I didn't know if that was going to register. Northern Ireland bakes as strange yellow object appears in the sky.
Hi, what's that?
The clouds broke.
Are you with me now, Beezy?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I mean, it took you a minute, but you got there, my friend.
It's like, who's baked? They smoking weed over there?
I thought it was hilarious. They said Sunday was the hottest day of the year so far, with temperatures hitting a whopping 20 degrees Celsius, which is like 70-something.
That's the record high?
It's the high of the year so far.
Holy crap.
So they're doing very good. But I thought it was also good that there is another article just a couple of weeks before this in Northern Ireland, and its title is "Please God Make It Stop Raining." A local bishop calls on people of the diocese to pray for sunshine.
Oh, that's great.
So I thought if you live in Ireland,
That's great right there.
So I thought those are two pretty good Irish headlines that we pulled up for the old Belfast.
Old Belfast.
All right, well I'm tired of being on the wagon. Y'all ready to do a lot of libations?
I'm excited. Libations.
Well,
During that section.
if you can't guess, we're in a brewery recording, and so we have like several options at our fingertips. I know. And as Beezy said, if you're watching this on YouTube, by the way, this is our first video on YouTube. We've been saying that for like a month now, and we had some problems in production,
some issues,
and so now we do have video. So you can go over to YouTube, you can check that out. And if you look at the video, we have danger behind us. And the reason it's dangerous is
I could literally go.
if you could just, if we're in such a place in life where we could just turn and have beer at our disposal, that's a dangerous proposition.
That's a great place, my
I'm
friend.
pretty sure the wives would not appreciate that long term. Maybe for a bit, but maybe not long term. So what we're going to do today is kind of what we did the last time we were with these guys. Gosh, that's been a year?
No, it's not been that long.
Has it not?
No, when did we do that?
35. I think.
Okay.
I think so, that's when the episode.
So
was.
half a year.
It's been about 6 months, I think.
It's been a bit.
So I think we did, what, 5 beers that day?
We did
So I think
5.
we're going to do, 2 or 3 today. And we're going to start with something a little lighter and typically not my favorite type of beer. But we're going to start with what they call the Midland Lager. Yep. And I'll just turn it over to the brewmaster. Tell us a little bit about this beverage.
So the style of this beer is actually, you can call it a couple different ways. You can call it an adjunct lager, or you can call it an American light lager. But let's just be real honest here. It's a fucking rice beer.
A rice beer?
Yeah, no, hey, I did it on a whim for New Year's, and well, everyone loved the hell out of it. And our distributor came and sampled it, and I think his reaction involved a private trip to the bathroom, and and so the decision was made is that we're just going to keep making this. Unfortunately, it's a long production time on this beer. It's about 5 weeks. Good lagers take some time.
Okay,
and so we basically have to keep one going at all times. I've got a tank in there full of it right now, just lagering away, as we would say. Well, it's
just a lagering.
lagering is actually just storing it at near freezing, but that actually helps clarify it, helps develop good flavor, and especially this very, very light flavor of these beers. And these are difficult beers to make because there's so little that actually goes into them, and they're actually so lightly flavored. This is not an IPA. They're so lightly flavored that any little mistake that happens with them, you can tell. You can't just throw more hops in and cover it up, as so to speak, or it's so you have to get it right every time.
All right. Well,
and we should add to this: if you know anything about Eccentric Brewing Company, one of the staples to who we are and what we do and how we do beer is most of our beers are huge ABV beers, right? So we're going to have a lot of alcohol in our beers. It's part of how we work, So everything that we do is 6% or above. Well, when you throw a huge party for New Year's Eve and new people are coming in that are not used to drinking our beers, the last thing that we want is for them to sit and drink West Texas Gold at a 7.9% all night long.
Okay,
they will throw up over all of our things. They will tear our stuff up. They will hurt themselves. It would be a bad daycare experience.
And then crawl out the door.
Yeah. So this was kind of the response to that is let's make something light. Let's make something easy, something that people are going to spend more time going to the bathroom to pee than throw up. This is going to be fantastic, right?
Yep.
And it worked out. Kind of contradictory to our style. It's always nice to see us as a little brewery.
That is
spread out and try
not
something.
an issue I thought about being an issue, but it makes total sense.
Let me tell you, people doing terrible things to our bathrooms is probably the one part of this job that we did not anticipate. And it's kind of like, oh, shit. All right, I'll rock, scissors, paper you for it or something.
Welcome to the bar life.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, let's give it a whirl, and we talk about it afterwards.
Blink it and drink it?
A little awkward.
Well, we're all sitting here arranged around a long bar. So
That is true.
I do not have go-go gadget arms.
Which is a shame. They can come in handy. So not what I was expecting.
It's
Nor
just
I.
a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
It's light, it's easy, it's crisp.
right, and it doesn't have the dirty lager
It
taste.
doesn't have that dirty domestic flavor.
Cardboard.
But I like being dirty.
Yeah.
Every time I have a lager, it doesn't matter who makes it. It reminds me of a Budweiser every time, and I hate that. And so most lagers I kind of run away from. This one does not have that baseline lager taste. I don't know if it's crisper or what it is.
Well, I think it's probably also the choice of yeast that we're using in this. Budweiser has their own. They have their own house yeast, and I think if you were to go and buy, say, an American lager yeast, you're probably getting Budweiser's strain of yeast that was stolen out of their brewery. We call it yeast wrestling, but I've
never heard of
this.
such.
Real
This is the
banditos
thing.
out
I'm
there,
not
guys.
joking. But so if you go and buy an American lager strain of yeast from any of the yeast suppliers around the country,
There's yeast suppliers.
yes, yeah, we use. I use probably 4 different brands or 4 different branded suppliers of yeast, and probably about 10 different strains of yeast overall to achieve our various beers.
Wow.
We don't ask them too many questions.
Just let me do my thing.
Bring it in. Yeah. What y'all do
It'll
is
get here. As long as it's here, we ain't asking no questions.
what y'all do is not our business. Just send the yeast.
But actually the strain that I use for this lager is more of a German strain and not an American strain.
Okay.
I think it actually is very beneficial to the beer.
Now this is one that y'all have in cans at the moment.
Not yet.
Not yet, but you're
Coming
going
soon.
to. Okay.
Coming very, very soon.
So this is a great beer, all around beer. I think maybe introductory to craft drinking. This would be a great one to give somebody that's just kind of maybe coming out of the domestics. By the way, my father-in-law came last night. He drinks Dos Equis and Michelob Ultra, and we gave him an FMJ. And he was not overly pleased, but he did suffer through. He powered through. He drank it, but you could tell he was a little like, not my style.
Nah, I don't like this one.
This would have
maybe lighten it up and we can get a good convert.
Yeah, this would have been a good one.
hit the spot for him, I believe.
Okay, so next time for sure. Great beer, Beezy. Any thoughts?
Man, I'm with you. I go into this one. It says lager. I expected a Budweiser,
Right.
and it's nothing like a Budweiser, and that is very positive, very positive.
I am appreciating that.
So I take it cold as possible on this one. I mean,
Yeah, this is absolutely a serve cold beer. I've actually, think we talked the other day about getting a freezer so we can freeze some of the glasses for this beer, despite the fact that I'm vehemently opposed to freezing glasses. Frozen glasses are for amateurs.
all right.
It's for this kind of beer. I mean,
But
it's
frozen glasses
yeah.
are for a nice, clean American light lager. You want that. You want this as a nice cold beer. Come in for mowing the lawn. You're sweaty as hell.
Yep,
Yep.
yep. I could definitely,
Crack open.
Yeah.
I could definitely
we
have
can't
one
do
of
that
these
yet,
while
can we?
mowing.
Because it's not in cans, but coming soon.
Coming
Coming
soon.
soon.
And coming soon, actually, probably to a ballpark near you.
So when we build the new studio that we're ultimately going to build, forget cans. We're going to have that. We're going to have the whole
I want
wall.
that. I want the whole line.
We're going to have y'all ship us kegs. We're going to have like semi-loads about once a month.
Solid plan. Solid plan. This is the way to do beer.
Telling you, man, that's pretty good stuff. All right, as far as rating goes, do you want to rate them or do you want to just kind of try them and go on?
You can hurt my feelings if you like.
We
I'm-
did
yeah, I'm
ratings on
Last
on
time?
the first 5.
I'm not going to hurt your
So-
feelings on this one. I
You
can
guys can
promise you
cut
that.
it later, right?
Do what?
Yeah, we can edit that
Cut it
post.
later if you don't like it. So I mean, it's
Yeah, we'll BS now. We'll
Right.
be real in editing.
Well, we're adding this after the fact.
So I'm not a huge lager fan, and but this one doesn't taste like a lager, and so that makes it a lot better in my opinion. So 84 right across the board on this guy. And the way we've done in the past is we just remind everybody that anything 60 and above for us is a good quality beer. We've had some lower than that, but not very many. And if you're above 75 on our scale, it's a good beer, and everything's drinkable. I think last time we had a couple of 90s.
Yeah.
For sure. And
Yep.
Old Sugar
Fuzzy
Plum.
Little Man Peach.
Fuzzy Little Man Peach was great, which y'all are out of, I hear. Is that right?
Yeah. Next
Well,
seasonal.
it's seasonal, so
Oh, it is
it'll
seasonal.
reappear soon.
Okay. All right. Well, if you're in the Midland, Odessa area, you need to come down and check that one out. What is the season for that? Is it summer?
Spring, summer.
Okay. All right. Well,
little hint. So Hops and Props is a big event that happens out here. So
Okay.
Fuzzy Little Man Peach will make his reappearance for
That's that-
Hops and Props this year.
I think that's the one that me and you, I think we're thinking about getting a table.
I think that's a great idea.
So
Let's do it.
Highly recommend.
let's do it. I mean,
right.
they're gonna have Fuzzy Little Man Peach there. That's all I needed to know.
Yep.
It's a great cause to back too.
Okay.
So basically, what they do is they restore old airplanes. They're part of the CAF, the Commemorative Air Force now. Used to be Confederate Air Force. Unfortunately, times have changed, so we have to change names to ebb and flow with it.
They were canceled very, very early
hard,
on.
yeah. That's it. This is
gotcha.
true. But some really cool little pieces of history, aeronautical history, in that little museum that they have over there.
Interesting.
Something cool for West
They
Texas.
have
Okay.
the Commemorative Air Force as a whole has one of the two only flying B-29 Super Fortresses.
Fifi.
Fifi.
Yep.
And
She's
then,
still there?
No, actually, Fifi is hangared in Dallas now. But
Interesting.
Fifi was hangared here for the longest time. I actually got to go through Fifi a while back, and let me tell you, sitting in that cockpit of one of those B-29s is incredible. You know, that full glass front. It's just
course.
cool as hell.
That sounds great. It kind of cracks me up because we have listeners literally all over the world, and one of our big groups is in Norway, and there's people in Norway right now that are listening. They're like, "What the hell are they talking about?"
Well, should we talk about Leah Morikoli? Who's,
Maybe so.
Who's in Norway? This guy this crazy Norwegian who just covers everything metal.
Oh, it's
And,
great. His
he's-
YouTube channel is just absolutely
it's
fantastic.
amazing.
Oh, yeah.
The first one I heard of his was Toto's Africa.
Africa.
And
that
it-
was that was mine too.
Was it really?
It's my gateway drug.
love
thing
love
to
that
lead
guy. And I didn't know he was Norwegian.
Yeah, Norway.
Okay, well, interesting.
Maybe he's one of our listeners.
God, I hope so. Tell him to call me. I really, no, Eccentric Brewing would really love Leo to come and play a show here.
Hey, man.
Yeah,
That would be incredible.
Yes, it would be incredible.
We could take this little clip, we could edit it out, make a little short video, and we could send it to him. And who knows, man? Like, who knows?
Here's our plea, Leo.
Yes, Leo, come on.
All right, Leo, the gods have presented. You've been asked, and it's up to you to respond now.
So you're an 84 on the lager. I'm going to go 82.
Oh, wait, we're still talking about beer.
Solid 82 on the lager. I like it. That is
I'll take it. No,
that's
it's
a
good.
fantastic
It's good.
rating. Thank you, guys.
For two boys who don't like lagers.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Jamie, what's next?
So next up, we are going to move into the Marley Chocolate Ale.
Oh my gosh,
this one's my favorite.
So as this is being recorded, we are actually going to have an event this afternoon.
So we are recording this early. Right. So if you're listening to this now, you
missed it.
You missed out.
Yeah, you missed it. Keep up a little bit better next time.
It's Saturday afternoon, not Thursday afternoon.
Right.
So a little bit of background on the Marley Chocolate Ale. Marley is actually a craft chocolatier in Odessa. These guys are bean to bar chocolate, right? So they're a lot like us. They're true craftsmen.
Okay. Have they been around a long time, or is this a new venture for them?
They've been around, I want to say 4 to 5 years.
5, I think. Yeah, I think 5. So these guys are very meticulous about what they do. They're very proud of their work. And I will say, much like having a well-crafted beer, when you have well-crafted chocolate, it changes your outlook on chocolate.
That's fair.
You can't eat a Hershey Kiss anymore. Tastes like a ball of wax. So these guys have ruined it for me, and I love them for it. So
that's fair.
So we crafted a beer using their chocolate, using their branding, and this is Marley Chocolate Ale.
So last night, as you get these ready, last night we were sitting around the table, and I can't remember if Beezy or the producer brought them to the table.
It'd have been me.
But I sipped it. He didn't tell me anything about it, and I sipped it, and I about fell out of my chair.
Yeah.
I was like, that is the best thing I've had in a while. It was very, very good. Yeah. And the ambiance last night was great, but the beer really stole the show last night. And I think I got 2 glasses after that.
I went, after I got the first one, I switched to that all night. I started out with an FMJ, and then I came up to the bar and looked, and I said, what the hell is that one? I hadn't tried that one. He's like, oh, it's that chocolate one. I was like, yeah, they're doing the little thing. They're doing their little chocolate thingy this weekend, eh? I said, yeah, let me try that one. And I drank that the remainder of the evening.
Yeah, great beers. Okay.
I think half that keg is probably gone because of me.
Marley is very much a beer nerd beer.
Okay.
That's what this is. The true beer nerds that come in here, the people that really appreciate what craft beer is about.
This is one.
This beer ends up being their go-to every single time.
Okay. All right. Brewmaster, can you give us any more insight into maybe the process or anything that's different about this one?
Y'all want me to be real honest?
Well, I mean, within reason. We're not psychologists or anything.
Well, if you want honesty, I love Beezy.
Oh, you're so sweet.
We were joking last night. Everybody loves Beezy.
I know.
Like Vladimir Putin would love Beezy. Okay,
No, fuck that dude.
He wouldn't even invade
Fuck
your
that
country.
dude in the ear.
I'm with you, but I'm just saying, doesn't matter who you are. But anyway, proceed,
All right,
sir.
I hate to admit this. I made a brown ale. I had actually intended to make a porter. My bad.
It happens.
But it works.
Part of the process.
No. We're rolling with this.
I'm telling you, man.
This the recipe is set. We're not changing this. Everyone loves it where it's at.
Yeah.
So
solid.
we're actually now on the last kegs of this. I think we're gonna probably have to go ahead and get another batch in the works.
Yeah, I would say this probably needs to become a staple that's not seasonal. You just need to have it.
Well, no, we've kept it on continuously now for a couple of years, and
Really, y'all had this for a couple of years?
yeah. Well, when we had we're up to 16 taps now, but when we had the 12 tapper,
Right.
Mary B might be cycled on and off depending on what all we were serving at that time.
Well, dang, I feel like you're holding out on us.
Maybe a little bit.
Marley is very much a happy little mistake, if you will. To quote our good friend Bob Ross.
Yes, yes. By the way, you had
Happy little
Bob Ross on in the bar last night, which I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
So we came in here, and then freaking Bob Ross is on the television. And we sat in here for like 20 minutes and watched Bob Ross. It's
So
fantastic.
It's just
for those that have not been to Eccentric Brewing Company, we have one TV that always has something weird on it, and
that's the idea.
the idea here is not for you to come and watch TV, but sometimes you get sucked in. Apparently,
I did last night.
we actually prefer the no TV, phones down, interact
Yes.
with the human beings around you kind of vibe. But how can you go wrong with Bob Ross?
I agree 100%.
Hold
All
on,
right,
I'm doing this
so
right now.
let's do a little Sippy Poo here, and we already chinked last time, so we'll just kind of tap that up.
It's been a while since I've had this beer, actually.
Oh my gosh, so good. And what is the ABV on this one?
It's not high. I want to say around 6.
Okay.
Is it? It's
Seven, I think.
it's so light, so light. I've kind of coined a term on the show that I use for a very select number of beers, but it's bouncy. It's light, and it's not like you said. You're trying to make a stout, and you didn't.
No, it's trying to make a porter.
Oh, a porter, and I'm glad that you didn't, because that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I got to be honest with you, me too.
Well,
Complexity without all the weight.
Yeah.
man, that's a good slogan. You put
Beauty.
That on a
You
shirt.
put that on a shirt.
And it could be about anything. It could be about you. Complex without the weight.
Well, actually, I couldn't wear that shirt. Sorry, I drink a lot of beer.
So when you in the brewing process, when do you add the chocolate?
Chocolate actually comes at the very end.
At the
Once
end.
the beer is fully fermented,
Okay.
and I'm doing what we call crashing it down, then the chocolate goes in. So I actually want that alcohol in there, because the alcohol actually will pull more of the chocolate and kind of hold and retain that flavor.
Okay. I dig it. So I'm gonna go 94 on this
shit.
particular beer, and I wish you had it in cans or a bottle or something, because I'd take some home. I really would. And if we can fill a growler, I'm gonna buy some on the way out. So if you got enough,
you
I'll
best
take it.
believe that's happening. That is faux show happening. So a 94.
94, way
That's
up.
impressive.
This would be one if I could find it in my local. Now, granted, at my local beer store, I could basically get domestics and one IPA, and that's it. That's the only options I have in my little bitty town. If I could have this, I'd be thrilled to death.
Have you considered moving?
I have many times. The problem is I
That's 6 in
came.
one IPA.
Yeah,
Which IPA?
the Hopadillo.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. Now, I can go 20 miles to the Walmart, and I can get the Bat Squatch, and I can also get the Voodoo line from New Belgium. So I can get some decent IPAs, but I have to drive, a considerable distance. I can't just go down the street.
And go into a Walmart.
That's fair. Yep.
Well, I've actually lived in a town without a Walmart. It was awesome.
Well, yeah. My town didn't have a Walmart. We do have an Allsup's. We have an Allsup's. You can go get you one of those burritos.
I love the Allsup's.
Little shout out to Allsup's.
I really enjoyed. I love Allsup's at about 2:00 in the morning.
Yep. Well, hell yeah.
Allsup's, if you're listening, these guys could use another sponsorship.
Possibly, yeah.
Well, actually, you guys want me to make a phone call? I worked for them for a long time. I was
that's
their
funny.
environmental consultant.
Well, as a matter of fact, not too long ago, and I think this has happened a handful of times, after we've recorded, it's late, and we've gone to the Allsup's.
Yep.
And those hatch burritos. Oh
man.
my gosh.
Nah. For me, it's the beef and bean burrito.
Just the regular
original.
Yep.
The OGs.
Yeah.
The OG.
And what is it about the Allsup's taco sauce?
I don't know.
That stuff
So
is
here's
like
the deal.
crack cocaine.
I bought the bottle, and it tastes different than the packets.
Well, I'm telling you, got to stick to the packets, man.
The bottle is a little spicier and it's got more of a vinegar flavor, and I didn't like it. I threw the damn bottle away.
Well, the plastic kind of takes a little of that flavor out.
I don't know what it is.
You got good BPAs in there. BC, you got a ranking on this thing?
I do. So you're a 94.
Yeah, way up there.
I'm a 95.
Okay, gonna one up
This
me.
one, yeah, I'm always a one upper.
Like
So
how you guys do that.
well, before of all your beers that we've had, the FMJ was kind of my go-to. I think this will be it from here on out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I gotta make more then.
Yes, for sure. For sure. I'll make trips just for that beer. It's a long drive, but it's totally worth it.
It's definitely worth it. I mean, I really like this one. I think this one and Fuzzy Little Man Peach
Pretty good stuff.
are my go-tos.
Well, we got lots to show. We got lots of show left. Sorry. And
you had sips, bro.
We'll send
Here we go.
we'll send all subs a bill for the shout out there. But let's get on, and we don't need full glasses of the next one. Beezy might.
Oh,
But
I got to drive.
what's third today?
Third on the list today is going to be our raspberry stout. So one of the new the little evolutions of what we are doing with Eccentric Brewing Company is we are taking the base for our coconut stout, and we are learning some things here about stuff that we can do to it to create. I don't want to call them seasonals because it's not really a seasonal. It's just a limited release beer.
Okay.
And it gives us an opportunity to kind of expand our creativity here, try some new things. Some of it's going to work. Some of it may not. I have no idea. We do a lot of research on this. We get really drunk in here and stumble around and really.
Sounds like a dream.
The other
Sounds
day-
like a cream dream, bro.
It's great. I mean, we really split hairs on drops of this and splashes of that. It gets super interesting. But I think every now and then we come out with some really special stuff on this. The raspberry is this is a special beer. It's not going to be something we release and put out. I don't think it will only be here. It will always be in limited release form. So last time we released this beer, we had 1 5-gallon keg of it. It sold out in 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Jeez.
So today we came back a little heavier. I think we have around 30 gallons of this right now.
That would be correct.
Okay.
And I kind of expect that will not make it through next Wednesday.
Good grief.
Okay, so as you pour, remind me now. I won't mention. It's kind of like Voldemort. You don't mention the name, right? But the last time
You don't talk about Bruno.
see, I don't get that reference. I don't have a kid, and everybody around me that has children has talked about that, and I have no idea. And I don't want to know because this is going to be like a little earworm that's going to stick with me forever.
It damn sure is.
We talked about Martin House and that they had a central, I guess, a stout that they used, and then they add and they make all these different lines of beer. Is that a similar process to what
Yeah.
y'all are doing?
Yeah, actually it is. And this actually harkens back to conversations that Jamie and I have had now for a couple of years. So what we're drinking now is raspberry stout is the recipe for coconut stout without coconut.
Okay.
But instead what we did was we added raspberry puree to it, and we add it in enough concentration that you're not searching for the raspberry. It's there. But the recipe for coconut stout as opposed to FMJ they're actually very, very different beers. And without the coconut in coconut stout, what you actually have is you have a nice stout. It's very smooth, very tasty, but it lends itself to taking on a lot of different flavors. And so we have some additional plans for this just beyond raspberry that they will be limited release. They'll only be available here, but we're gonna bring it to make some really, really interesting things. Actually, should I?
Tease it behind the scenes.
Tease it a little bit. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Just tell them a little bit. You know, I mean,
Chocolate covered strawberry stout.
chocolate covered strawberry stout. We all love the Lindor orange that you slam down on the table. Mm-hmm. What if we can put that into a beer?
Why not?
I'm moving to Midland, I guess. You guys got a place back there for a
We
small
have a
apartment?
shitload of churches, man. Come on.
I don't even need a church, man. We'll just come down.
You don't need an apartment occasionally. I just sleep
He's been
here
converted.
in the room.
I'm going to be like Friar Tuck, man. Preach and drink. So this beer, same process as the chocolate. Do you add it towards the end of the brewing process?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So the puree, because puree has, it has a bunch of sugar in it. We don't want the yeast to eat that sugar. We want that to add to the flavor of the beer, so that actually goes into the beer when it's cold as hell. When we crash it down or after we crash it down. So the raspberry puree is the absolute last thing that goes into the beer.
Okay. All right. Beezy, you ready?
I am.
right.
I'm super excited about this one.
Let's do a little Sippy Poop.
Oh my God. So one of the biggest
Call me
complaints
Aaron.
that me and Reese have are when you say, oh, I'm a raspberry stout, and then it just tastes like chocolate or coffee. You get
Or
zero,
nothing at all.
or nothing at all. When it says that it's something, I want that something to be present, and it damn sure is with this. And it's impressive how much raspberry flavor you get.
Well, hell yeah. Hey.
Did you mix raspberry like particles in the beer? Like, are they still in there?
Raspberry puree.
Very much so. Real fruit in that beer.
And actually, so that's actually, Jamie and I, some days we agree on a lot of stuff. We don't agree on a lot of stuff. But one thing that we're in agreement on with beer is that if you have a modifier to that beer, if it's coconut stout, raspberry stout, fuzzy little man peach, chocolate ale.
Yes.
If you have that modifier in that beer to say that you have this particular flavor in that beer, it has to be there. You should not have to search for it.
But so many do.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many you see.
Well, I don't make their beer.
It's a brewer thing. It is. It's a brewer thing because in the beer world, there is most brewers prefer a very nuanced touch to what they are doing.
That's fair.
So when they talk about whatever, chocolate, raspberry, whatever it is, for them they're looking for a very nuanced touch on that.
Okay.
Which is it's kind of cool in a beer geeky way.
Right.
But as a beer drinker, give me the raspberry.
Of course.
Give me what you're selling.
Well, we're not going to do it to a point where it's going to slap you in the face, and that's all. All you taste in this beer is raspberry.
Right.
But what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the raspberry is there, it's present, you like the flavor, and it's in balance with the rest of the beer.
And it is. It's up front, and it lasts the whole drink from the front to the back, but it's not overbearing either, and it's a wonderful balance. Now, this is my ignorance kind of coming out. When you begin maybe larger distribution, canning bottles, blah, 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 do you sacrifice some of the purity in the brewing process in order to make your distribution work?
No. So we still make these beers here for ourselves. Distribution, distribution, and we've now had a couple years to kind of learn this. Distribution, they may only want, say, between 4 and 6 beers from you, and we make maybe 16 or 20 different beers at various different times. So distribution doesn't want everything. They want the most of what they think they can sell.
That makes sense.
For them, it's a volume game.
It's a volume
Understood.
game.
But that being said, beers like, say, this raspberry stout, this is something that we could definitely put on market, in
Of
bombers,
course.
Yeah.
much like what we do with Sugar Plum, barrel-aged FMJ, the things that we put out in bombers. Raspberry stout would be a great, once every now and then kind of
special release.
Yep. I hate the word seasonal because it's such there's so much weight that comes with that when you're dealing with beer distribution. If you use other words, it's way better. So
for the raspberry, I'd actually say that this is not necessarily like a seasonal type of beer. This is something that, just a special release, not necessarily a seasonal beer. But we're not going to do it all the time.
That's fair. Where did you source your puree from?
Hey,
let's
that's
keep that
trade
one to
secret.
ourselves.
Yeah, we're gonna trade secret.
I'm sorry. I was just
if we
question.
told
Look at
you
the
we
silence.
Okay.
Yeah, if we told you, we would have to kill you. And considering you're broadcasting, that's
probably
that
bad.
puts us into serial killer territory, and we're not there yet.
That's premeditated, bro. That's an extra 10.
Yeah, probably surrounded by weapons. Not a great time to ask really pertinent questions.
Don't ask the secrets.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for the beers. Wonderful. We've gone long.
What are you thinking on rating first?
Well, I'm getting there. I was gonna say we've gone a little long, but totally worth it. And if you're a beer fan, you owe it to yourself to come down here. And this is the only brewery that I've been in, and I'm not lying about this. It's the only brewery that I've been in when the brewmaster will come out, sit, have some beers, and talk with the patrons. I've literally never seen that before like I saw it here.
You know, I hate to admit that that's actually kind of terrible that we're the only ones where that occurs.
I've never been in a brewery where that has happened. I'm not saying it never does, but rarely.
A couple weeks ago, I was in Waco at Bear Arms Brewing, and the owner and brewer was behind the bar, and wonderfully awesome dude, excellent place to go to. Honestly, really carried sort of the same vibe that we carry, just not quite as divey. There's not mannequin heads on the wall and shit like that, but really carried the same vibe. And the owner was he was just an awesome guy. Had a wonderful time. Spent a lot of time with him for probably about 3-4 hours. Wonderful guy, wonderful place, and excellent beers as well.
And what brewery is that?
Bear Arms Brewing in Waco.
In Waco? Waco's a cool little town.
Yeah,
I really like that place.
Despite all the Baptists.
Well, I was going to say, despite the Chris and Joanna Gaines, cult following they got down there, but even that, I took the wife and she enjoyed it, and it was worth it. And then I got to go fish at the lake that's right there, so that was good times.
Next time you roll in, you should also go to Balcones Distilling.
Yeah, I will.
Balcones is the very first episode of the Hidden Revival, our Patreon podcast.
That's right.
We did their the Balcones pot stilled
and it was
Texas bourbon,
and it was pretty good.
Very nice.
Oh, no.
Pretty good.
Nice.
What you need to try from Balcones is Rumble.
In the jungle.
Rumbled in the jungle.
Rumble in the jungle.
And shout out to those guys. So,
Shout out
so,
to Tommy.
so-
He was awesome.
Yeah,
Damn, we did a nice
people down
name
there.
drop.
Emily, they're newly found distiller down there from Crowded Barrel.
Blender.
So Blender, yes, there you go, Blender. So if you know anything about Crowded Barrel, they are actually one of the ones that kind of kicked off the whole whiskey tribe thing in Texas.
Really?
And really like founding. They're a cornerstone of bourbon and whiskey in Texas. And Emily was a blender there, started her distilling career there, and has now moved on to Balcones. So great people out here in the alcohol industry.
We'll send them a bill too.
Yeah. We're just racking up bills on this episode.
Maybe they'll pay it.
92.
Ooh,
92. All right. And I will say, I'm not a fan of sweet beers. It's normally not my thing, but that one is balanced so well, and it's all evident. The whole drink, it's evident, and it's not overly sweet. I really dig it. Really dig it.
I'm gonna go with a 94.
All right, so we
And
got.
I'm knocking it. I really wanted this one to be on par with the Fuzzy Man Peach, because I think that's still my highest rated beer.
It's a good beer.
If I could say, a lot of this could be because it is a fresh keg. I kind of want there to be just like 2 more carbonation bubbles in it.
I don't know.
2 more carbonation bubbles. That's it.
You guys really want to know how fresh that keg of beer is?
Yeah.
Like 6 o'clock this morning.
We're hours now. Yeah, hours.
hours into the experience.
This
Well,
is
the
a
beer,
beer.
the beer is fermented and ready. It's carbonated, and like I said earlier, the raspberry is the absolute last part, and the raspberry 6 o'clock this morning.
So good.
This is a beer that time will probably change to. Unfortunately, we may not get to realize or recognize that because I suspect it'll be gone before.
Yeah, I know
that
it will be.
happens. So
Yeah.
All right, so thank you guys for the beers. Just a couple of things housekeeping-wise for folks that want to come see y'all. They come down here to the brewery. You got a place in the back where they can sit, they can drink. You guys are open Monday through Saturday?
It's Monday. I'm sorry. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay, so 3 days a week.
3 days a week.
And during the day as well?
We open typically on Wednesdays, it's 4 to 9, Fridays is 4 to 11, and Saturdays is 1 to 9.
And are all your beers a flat rate? So when they open a tab, is every beer just a one flat rate?
We are one flat rate.
And what is that rate?
$7 a beer right now.
That's a great price.
Inflation is hitting hard, guys.
If it
while you
changes,
can.
it will still be at a flat rate, but it may go up.
Yeah.
It may change soon. So
Well, when I was in Albuquerque, and you guys know the brewery scene's a little different, a little more uppity in that area and southern Colorado, but
did he say uppity?
$8 to
Well,
$12 was pretty standard.
Holy shit.
Yeah, for just a regular size beer.
Well, when you sip that beer, do you like put your little pinky
Yep,
up in the air?
yep.
And like,
you got to put your pinky. So here's the deal: you got to put your pinky up in the air. You got to act pretentious, and then whenever you leave, you realize that your car has been stolen, and so it really brings the atmosphere down at that point.
Pastor, I mean, everything you're telling me, you don't have a man bun.
No, I do not.
So you can't be as pretentious as possible.
I definitely not. Me and the cowboy boots, rocking and rolling in those places didn't exactly jive all that much. But thankfully, I was able to leave that place, and I left all of that there. I didn't bring any of
Didn't
that
bring it with you. We appreciate it.
I always thought it was funny that the pretentious scene was in Albuquerque. It's Albuquerque. Like there's nothing pretentious about that town at all. It's
Right.
it's a crap show.
And you're literally right in the middle of a desert.
They had that show that kind of set them up to be the meth capital of the world, though. I mean,
That's true.
they got the fanciest meth.
Yeah, apparently.
Ooh,
Yeah,
no, this meth is shit.
I did think it was
Well-
pretty hilarious. They had a candy maker there who made candy that was in the shape and style of the show. And so you'd have kids in grade school walking around with little candied meth. Like, come on, guys. I mean, we can't even sell
you're
cigarette candies
kidding.
anymore, but you guys are walking around with meth candy.
Snort the rock candy. Snort the rock candy.
I got what you need.
I mean, you talk about
Walking around in second grade,
trading them up young.
say, I got this shit. Well, how much you want?
Well, I know this isn't a normal episode, and because this isn't a
Well,
normal
we're not normal.
environment.
We're
and,
eccentric.
Y'all are eccentric.
That's
Very eccentric episode.
And
yes.
No, we went a little long on the libations, but it's totally worth it. If you guys are around this area ever, just come in and check these guys out. They would greatly appreciate it. Tell them that we sent you. We'd appreciate that.
Yes.
And Beezy has a surprise for us. And it's something that I'm not 100% sold on. So this is going to be a roll of the dice, and we'll see how it goes. And we might bring it back up in later segments.
We probably will. I don't know. I did a shitload of work on this, so
Suddenly, I feel like I'm in danger.
danger.
I'm gonna kind of cease my part and smoke my cigar, and I'm just gonna turn it over to my co-host, old Beezy.
All right. So this new segment that we're gonna do is gonna be geared towards kind of when we have special guests like Jamie and Aaron here. And it's gonna be a little game show type deal. I ripped this completely off. They have brilliant minds over at Dropout and College Humor,
Okay.
and they have this game show called Actually, and this is basically that, except for copyright reasons we can't call it Actually. So our game is called Wrong Beezy.
Wrong, Beezy. So what you're saying is you stole it.
Yeah, I stole it.
Okay.
I have no no original ideas.
That's correct. So unoriginals rearing their ugly heads yet again.
Yes, it
Well,
is.
no. Original was showing everyone his ass last night.
That is pretty original.
That's
That's true.
original. I mean, that is kind of my staple.
That's fair, which is sad, but it is what it is.
Well, basically, the way this is going to work is I've got a series of 10 questions. Each question will have something to do with St. Patrick's Day or booze. But there is something that I've got in the question that is going to be false. If you know what the little falsity is in my question.
Falsity. I like that.
Is that is that a real word?
I'm going to roll with it.
I-
We
hell,
live in
it-
Texas. We make our own
It
words.
felt good. So, if you have an idea what is wrong with the question, or you have no idea and you just want to guess, all you got to do is just say "wrong, Beezy," and correct it. If you're right, you'll get a point. And much like whose line is it, anyways? The points don't mean shit, but the winner's going to get some bragging rights.
Wrong,
and-
Beezy.
All right, correct it, sir.
I was hoping he was coming in with wrong Beezy. The winner gets more beer. I was hoping that was.
Well, I was going to say I will buy the
do have
winner a
plenty of
beer.
No bragging rights in this shame.
Some of these questions I have sprinkled a little trickery. So heads up, and let's get this shit started.
All right.
Question number 1. This is going to involve beer. One of the one of the greatest holidays to be celebrated, Oktoberfest, is enjoyed by most of the world. Originating in Germany, it is now celebrated from Tokyo to Australia, as well as the United States and North Korea, just to name a few.
That's it.
Wrong, Beezy.
Wrong, Beezy.
Oh, show it.
got-
Jamie was first.
Oh, we need one of those buzzers.
I'm not sure the North Koreans get to celebrate anything.
That is correct, sir. That is correct. So,
wait.
Wrong, Jamie. They get to celebrate still being alive.
And missile launches now and then, whether they like it or not.
Yes.
Maybe there's someone strapped to the missile.
Certain level of starvation.
So North Korea does not celebrate Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest is usually from September 17th to October 3rd, typically.
Yes, mid-September to very early
Beginning
October.
of October, yes. That's when the world celebrates
Real tricky.
Oktoberfest.
Real tricky.
It is tricky.
So
Got a problem with Oktoberfest, I'll be honest.
North Korea decided they were going to have their own beer festival, and they do theirs from August 15th to September 9th,
So what you're saying
just
is
to one up the world.
the
Just
North
getting out ahead.
They start early.
We did it first.
Actually, I can kind of dig that.
So North Koreans can't eat anything, but they can drink beer a month before everybody else.
Yes.
How many beers is your allotment in North Korea? I can't imagine it being a lot.
1.5.
When you're
For the
starving,
year.
When you're starving, you get drunk faster.
When you got nothing to soak up the booze, you get drunk real quick. One beer.
That's why I skip breakfast.
I'll tell you what, if I was over there, I'd want the stoutest beer they got. Give me some calories, man. Right. This cabbage is not working.
Right? You
Wait,
got
they have
oatmeal
cabbage?
stout.
I don't know. Can you hold the stout? I'll just take the oatmeal. Give me something to eat, please.
I'm tired of rice.
Rice. That'd be add insult to injury. They gave him rice beer.
Well, it wasn't Midland Lager.
Oh, that's great. All
That's pretty funny.
right, question number 2. This is going to be a St. Patty's Day question. The first St. Patrick's Day celebration in the United States was held in Pennsylvania in 1737.
Wrong, Beezy.
Ooh,
New York?
incorrect.
Oh, fuck.
I was going to say wrong, Beezy, that there weren't any Irish here in 1737.
Actually, there were.
That's
There were
pretty
2.
early. There were 2 Irish, and then quickly there were 8,000.
just rabbits, those Irish.
That whole birth control thing is not really their style.
Catholics. That'll happen.
The Catholics ruin everything.
Go forth and procreate.
Well, they took that literally.
Literally.
I don't have the answer on this one, Beezy.
So it's not that there weren't Irish in the
No,
1730s.
no, that is incorrect.
He was
I'm
close.
gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give Aaron a point just because he knew the wrong portion of the question.
Okay.
And it is the town.
So not
So-
Pennsylvania.
It is not in Pennsylvania.
That was the Amish.
So the correct answer is it was held in Boston in 1737.
Baston.
Boston.
Should have known.
It said Boston. So Boston was the first seaport and commercial center in America at that point, which would make sense because it had a shitload of Irish immigrants there.
Fair.
Question number 3 is going to do beer. And Reese, we had a decent talk about this on one of our early episodes. So we're going to test your long-term memory skills.
All right.
The world's most expensive beer is Brewdog's The End of History at $20,000 per bottle.
Wrong, Beezy. It wasn't. That's not the right brewery, right?
No, I think it's the right brewery, but it's not the right beer.
Not the right beer.
I want to say it's Tactical Nuclear Penguin. I can't say that shit right. And 20 grand is a little high.
A little.
That's
Significantly high.
That's a lot of damn high.
All right, you gonna enlighten us here?
I was enlightened. I have nothing on this one.
So y'all are both incorrect.
Shit.
So
by default, I'm right.
Fair.
This
I guess that works.
title goes to Allsop's Arctic Ale, and it was sold for $503,300.
Damn.
Yeah, it was brewed in 1875 for an Antarctic expedition. It's basically just a collector's item, though, so you don't want to take a drink of that swig.
Yeah, you might
you
die.
sure?
You would probably die.
I would give it a try.
You don't know me.
It'd been percolating for a wee bit.
For a bit.
So no points that round.
Wait. So this actually beats Ballantine's Burton Ale?
I don't know what that is.
Oh,
Into the obscure we go.
Yeah, no doubt.
my bad.
I'm gonna look it up.
I'm going to have to get some more research to do. Okay, question number 4.
How many questions you got?
10, bro.
Okay, all right. I was thinking. I thought you had 25. I was like, good Lord, man.
No.
They got to open the shop here soon.
No, we just
we're
got
good.
10. We just got 10. So question number 4 is going to do with beer. In Munich, Germany, the government has incentive programs to help alcoholics.
Yes.
I'm going to say wrong.
It's more beer.
Wrong, Beezy. I think that's Brussels.
I was going to say wrong because of the location.
Yeah.
But
Do you have a guess on the...
Amsterdam?
That is correct.
Oh, they have
Oh, that's
different
right.
call.
Yes.
That is correct, actually. So this is actually really cool. Amsterdam, the government will actually pay the drunks to clean the streets. So for a full day's worth of work, they get 5 cans of beer, a pack of smokes, and 11 euros.
5 cans of beer.
Yeah, they did this so that even the drunks could be productive for the country in little ways.
We should start this program in Midland.
I'm living in the wrong
1,000%
place.
agree.
Okay, look, instead of cleaning the streets around here, how about we fix the streets? We pay the drunks to fix the streets with
No,
beer.
stop that. No, the city keeps shutting our fucking street
That's
down.
what I'm
and
talking
it
about.
Sucks balls.
Perpetual construction down here. Yeah, it's
I'm amazed
weird.
that people
Yeah.
actually make it here because they keep blocking stuff off. And it's like, and actually, I drive over here. I'm like, shit, what
Which
direction am I
route do I have to
going?
go today? Well, it's crazy. The Romans still have roads that have been
Yeah.
non-maintained
The Midlands
since the
do not.
1500s.
They weren't made by engineers.
and they were not made by engineers. That's the deal.
Yep, the Midlands do not. Yep, Romans, hats off.
And by the way, I'm going to call wrong Beezy on that one because it wasn't the 1500s, bro. You're about 1,000 years off.
15th century.
Nope. Nope.
The Romans were done by 400 AD.
Something like that.
Whatever.
No,
Hey, that ain't a question,
you're-
and you don't get a point. So,
I want all the points.
king.
The devil's math over here.
So we've actually got a 3-way tie right now. Everybody's got 1 point, which is good.
Worst 3-way I've ever been in.
Question number 5. This is going to do with St. Patty's Day. Everybody knows the color of St. Patrick's Day is green. The color is assumed to have been adopted due to several different factors. Ireland's nickname is the Emerald Isle. The Irish flag has green in it, and the shamrock or clover. Green ribbons and shamrocks were worn as early as the 17th century.
Wern?
Where there was wern. You know, they was werned. They was werned. It's past tense, so it was werned.
I'm going to say wrong on the 17th century part.
Yeah, I think it's earlier.
Yeah, surely.
Well, earlier.
Incorrect.
Really?
Wow.
Anybody? I mean, y'all more welcome to keep guessing.
No,
I'm not gonna guess.
all that sounded good to me.
Okay.
17th century sounded off.
Correct us, Beezy.
Okay.
Enlightenment.
Prepare to have your minds blown. The original color was blue.
Really?
Yeah. So when Henry VIII declared himself the King of Ireland in the 16th century, he created a coat of arms for Ireland, and that used the color blue. With blue being the color of Ireland, artists would color St. Patrick in blue. In fact, it was such a popular shade of sky blue that it was called St. Patrick's blue. However, in Ireland, some people still adhere to the tradition of the Catholics wearing green and the Protestants wear orange for Paddy's Day. Those are the colors that are represented for the respective sects of the religion.
Blue and orange?
No, it's green and orange.
Oh.
So they switched it. I don't know when it switched over to green, but the Catholics...
Just gave up on Henry.
Yeah,
VIII.
they'll go green, and then the Protestants are orange.
Basically, Henry VIII was like, well, I'm the Pope now. And so
I'm the
here's
Pope now.
what we're going to do.
I'm Henry VIII. I am.
Henry VIII, I am. I got married to the woman next door. She'd been married seven times before.
Jamie being a Protestant with his red hair, we'll just call that orange.
Close enough.
I'll allow it. All right, so question number 6 is another St. Patty's question. Jesus, I can't even read. One of the most popular drinks on St. Patrick's Day is FMJ Stout from Eccentric Brewing.
I see nothing.
yes.
I think nothing wrong with that statement.
Correct, Beezy.
You are correct, sir.
I'm going to give everybody a point on that one. So I actually
Points
put
all
on
around.
here, there's nothing wrong with this question, but the world would say that Guinness is one of the most popular drinks for St. Patrick's Day.
Probably so. Yeah. And let's just come to the table right now. Guinness is not a great beer.
No, it's not.
It's an okay beer. But
It's an excellent beer.
It's
on
not a great
Paddy's
beer.
Day.
On Paddy's Day,
actually, if we're gonna really split hairs on it, it's not that Guinness is a bad beer. The actual style of beer that Guinness is called a dry Irish stout. That style of beer is not just particularly great.
all right. I didn't know that. Now, did
The
that
more you know.
did
We're-
that
we're a little
style
rainbow.
did it start with Guinness? Was that style started by Guinness? Because Guinness is what, mid 1700s?
Yeah, Guinness 400-ish years old. You know,
So-
we're going to 1700s.
You think they started that, and that's kind of what they base it on now? Everything else is based on that particular recipe.
Guinness became the Budweiser of stouts. Certainly there's some history there. Probably Guinness was not the first, but I don't know the history accurately enough to
That's
speak
fair.
to it.
Fair enough.
Budweiser of stouts.
I kind of like that.
Merch Mogul, we need you to make a shirt for that one.
Please.
Well, thanks for joining us. We missed you.
We're
Do you have a
Squirrel-
good pee?
Squirrel bladder. Yeah, lots of beer.
I know.
I'm
Well, I have
with
to make
you.
the trip myself.
With you.
Wait, can we pause on the question?
I guess.
I mean, yeah.
You'll be back in time.
So we'll just
We won't know the answer. He's doctored this thing against us. Clearly.
Hey, it's still a 3-way tie.
Basically, we're more than 3/4 of the way in, and we have 1 point. 1 point apiece.
A piece. Well, hey, everybody got that question right.
He's just trying to keep us in a 3-way. That's
Terrible.
all it is.
It's not gay if it's in a 3-way. That's a great song. You ever heard that one?
No.
Lonely Island? Yeah.
Lonely Island.
Lonely Island.
You got to say it with the Irish inflection.
The Lonely Island.
There you go.
Do you have a spit cup somewhere over here?
Yes.
Are we gonna?
We'll do a little
We can just
editing.
edit this
Yeah,
one?
we'll do a little editing here.
Work it in. The joys of copy and paste.
It doesn't really work that way. It's pretty difficult, apparently.
Well, not just with the audio. The audio is pretty simple, but when you start tacking it up with the video, it becomes a little more
Pain in the ass.
challenging. But I think I've got a way around it, so we'll be all right. So what question are we on, 7?
And I'm back.
All right, go.
Well, he can't. He's getting a dip.
Feed the addiction.
Okay. Oh, go on. Sorry.
No, what were you gonna say? Because I know it was gonna be smart.
No, it's not definitely not smart. I was gonna say that movie is probably one of the greatest animated films that they've ever come out with.
I mean, I can't disagree with you.
I can't think of another one that is better than that. It's very, very good.
It is.
Okay, now we can start.
Okay.
question.
Question number 7. This is going to deal with beer. In America, the beer industry plays a vital role in the economy because every year profits generate $100 million from beer alone.
I'm gonna say wrong.
Wrong.
That's way too low.
Yeah.
See, you said it first. What's you guess? You are correct. It is.
I'm gonna
money
say
amount.
Billions.
well in the billions, maybe tens of billions.
Okay. I'm going to give it to you because the actual answer is $100 billion a year. That's with a B.
So 10 tens.
You cannot
10.
solve for Beezy. He's going to give it to you.
Yeah. Annually, $100 billion a year on beer sales.
Well,
in
the fact of the matter is,
America.
everyone needs something to drink, and you know what? It's generally beer.
You got a friend in me.
Alcohol is recession proof.
It is true. That is true.
Oh, wait, that's the next thing they're going to put a kibosh on.
They tried that.
In Prohibition
They tried that in
again.
the 30s. It didn't work out so well.
I know.
Celebrate with beer, lament with
bathtub
beer,
gin.
have a good time with beer, have a bad time with beer.
I like both.
Good times, bad times. You know, I've had my share.
Yes. Okay, so that's a point to Reese. Reese is in the lead.
Wait, hey, it's not fair. I was in on that as well.
But he said it first.
Give him a half a point.
All right, fine.
You can
I'll take
have
a half a point.
You can have a half point. It doesn't mean anything, but
They're out of the three-way and into a monogamous relationship.
Which was pretty standard for the majority of my life.
all right. Question number 8. Born on 386 AD to wealthy parents in a debatable location, Maiwin Sukkot, also known as Patrick, came into existence. After being a slave for 6 years as a shepherd, he managed to escape. A dream he had told him to become a missionary, and he needed to leave Ireland. After a second revelation, an angel told him to return. With loads of converts under his belt, the Irish-born missionary died on March 17th, 461 A.D.
He was old.
1631, the church established a feast day to honor Patrick, and thus St. Patrick's Day was born.
Beezy, you're correct.
That was a mouthful. I'm impressed that you got that one all out.
Is your year wrong? The 461 wrong?
No, I think the years are correct. That's sounds about right. I don't think that Patrick drove the snakes out from Ireland, but
There were no snakes there.
well, there still aren't,
There's no
He got rid of
cats.
them, I guess.
unless you count the English.
It's too
There are
damn
no
cold.
cats in America.
What?
Anybody know about that one?
What are you
That's a
talking
throwback. That's a American Tale.
Okay, continue.
So the correct answer is Patrick. Oh wait, are y'all gonna guess?
Patty.
I've got no guess on American Tail. Y'all just brought up American Tail. Fievel coming over on the boat here.
You don't like
There's no cats in America.
No cats in America.
I think they're remaking it too.
Oh God, I hope
Really?
not.
I think
No,
so.
Please don't.
Yeah, I'm
Just
pretty
leave
sure.
it alone.
Don't fuck with classics.
Leave Fievel alone.
That's all they do now.
He'll be transgender this go around.
Leave him alone.
He probably will be.
Definitely transgender this go around.
At least gay. Yeah. At least gay.
For show. Anyways, the correct answer is Patrick was not of Irish descent. He was actually Welsh.
All the same
It's
to me.
debatable. It's Welsh or English. But he's definitely not Irish.
Yankee Welsh.
Correct. But he was a slave in Ireland.
Correct.
And then he went back
yes.
after he was liberated.
Yes.
Okay.
All those milky white folks look the same to me.
That's fair.
So no one gets points?
No points. So Pinewood is still in the lead
By half a point.
by half a point.
I will cherish that half a point.
My game.
Question number 9 does involve beer. The first documented date of 1677 coined the term stout when describing beer. Referring to its strength, this dark bottom fermented brew was a number of variations, including a dry stout, an oatmeal stout, milk stout, and imperial stout.
Stop.
Easy, you were wrong. There was no milk stout then.
And there was no milk stout. All right, so there was no milk stout, and actually it was called a stout porter.
That is correct, but that's
And,
not the question.
But actually, so the year is actually a little bit off. We're into the 1700s now, where there was greater control on roasting the malt, and so you didn't have just this smoky ass beer because they couldn't. The Industrial Revolution actually brought about some very excellent changes, and the maltsters were able to control the process on their beers, and so they could roast malts a certain way, and so the actual brewers were able to go and actually make beers very specifically and actually control the process a lot better. So the years are off. I'm not sure when they started using oats into the process, but that was not in the 16 or 1700s. What else am I missing?
I'm giving you a point just because that was a shitload of information that has nothing to do with the question.
And by the way, malters?
I know. I like that.
I like
title.
that too.
No, maltsters.
Maltsters.
Yeah.
I
You
wanna
don't
be
mess
called
with those
a
guys.
Yeah, I like that.
They will shove a horse head right down your chimney. Okay?
So you get a point anyways, so you're up by a half point. The correction that I was looking for on this is stouts are top fermented. In the question I said they were bottom fermented.
Well, we didn't quite get all the way through it. Yes, no, lagers bottom fermented. Actually, any ale yeast, any ale, which stout is always an ale, is top fermented. So so my initial comment was there's a lot of problems here.
It's fair.
Fair enough. Hence the point. All right. Our 10th and final question.
Thankfully.
Shut your face. Does involve beer.
Even better.
The health benefits are minimal for minimal to moderate beer consumption according to studies.
Wrong, Beezy.
Oh.
Repeat
The
the
health
question,
benefits to having beer are significantly great. Let's just start with the mental health that we all like to focus on these days. Mental health alone,
Yeah.
beer keeps me right. So then beyond that, it's also what would be vitamin B12? Is that?
Well, actually, the yeast carry a lot of B vitamins in general, not just B12.
There you go. So
Beautiful.
solves
And the
my
point-
vitamin deficiency.
The point to Jamie, and I had quite a bit of information on this.
I went
one
from
that
first to last real fast.
Yeah.
Well,
'cause you suck.
really, actually, the studies on moderate consumption, they're like one beer a day. And
Yes.
I don't know who the fuck has one beer a day because I don't.
It's like a Pringles can. I bet you can't eat just one. I bet you I can't drink just one.
Size matters here too.
Well, yeah, that's true. So in doing some studies on this, not only can stouts help fight cancer, which we discussed in one of our episodes, but it can also reduce kidney stone development by 40%. It can reduce the risk of ischemic strokes. It'll lower your risk for type 2 diabetes. That increases your HDL cholesterol, which is your good cholesterol. A study in Japan, and of course it was in Japan, they found that it reduces the risk of chromosomal damage from radiation in small amounts. It can also reduce the risk of ulcers. And according to research, men in their late 70s and 80s who have at least one libation a day have clearer thinking ability compared to their non-drinking counterparts.
Are you going to provide sources for this?
Nope.
Or you're just going to have to take your word for it?
You have to always take my word for it.
This
Well,
is
Beezy
science.
is always
After
correct.
Fukushima, I think the Japanese would know best about chromosomal damage,
Radiation.
except for maybe the Ukrainians, and they've got other
I
problems.
gotta, yeah. There's probably some beer drinking going on in Ukraine right now. I would imagine.
Yes.
So
Mental health.
something that's not mentioned and factored into those studies is the atmosphere around beer. When we talk about the health of cigars, you just factor in the cigar smoking. You don't factor in going to a lounge, hanging out with people that you enjoy, the relaxation that comes with that process. You don't factor any of that in. And I think with beer drinking, it's the same thing. You don't factor in the friends that you have, the local joints that are established, the community and the connection there.
Camaraderie.
Yeah, all that's a positive. All that's a net benefit for humanity. And I think it centers around, everybody's going to drink, right?
Sure.
We found that you can't take that away. And so the atmosphere around it, I think, is more important than even the physical benefits.
I agree. 100%.
100%. That's science that I can believe in.
That is science right there, stated from Dr. Pinewood.
Yeah, the Reverend Doctor.
Reverend Dr. Pinewood.
All right, Beezy. Cool game, man. I enjoyed it.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And
We'll have to bring it back.
We have a tie.
Okay.
Actually, no, we don't. You tied for last.
Oh, no.
Oh shit!
He wins by a half point, remember?
Half points.
Half point. Yes. Half points matter.
I win?
So Aaron has won.
All right.
Sweet.
Captain Packelhofer has won the race.
All right, so I'm going to
I owe you a
ask.
beer.
I'm going to ask. Well, we're in a good place for that.
It just so happens I knows a
We got
feller.
plenty.
So Beezy and I kind of have life of luxury today as far as time goes. We can kind of do what we need. I know you guys have a schedule today. I would like to
We're not worried about it.
Pastor and the Heathen and talk a little bit about the science and religion question we had last week, because I know we have some things to talk about. But we're already about an hour 20 in, so I don't care about the podcast length, but I do care about y'all's schedules. If y'all want to talk for another 30 minutes, we'll go on to that. If not, we can kind of wrap it up.
I think we're good. We might have some people come in. We'll serve them a beer across the bar and make the best of it here.
Are you sure?
And we'll keep the microphones and headphones going, and they can just sit here as the
listen.
gallery.
Sounds great.
The old peanut gallery.
All right, well, that being said, let's do a little Pastor and the Heathen.
The Pastor and the Heathen.
Now, the last episode, Pastor and the Heathen is just an opportunity. We sit down and Beezy brings his perspective. I bring my perspective. And a lot of times we agree more than we think that we're going to agree.
Agreed.
And the last week, Beezy brought up the question, can science and religion, what did you say? Can they?
Are religion and science ever at odds?
Okay. And my immediate answer was they can't be. And I kind of went on the ethereal 30,000 feet above the air, truth with a capital T, true science, true religion have to be the same. And if one's not the same, then they're not true. And so we were talking last night about a couple of different things. And I know for a fact that we were talking about young Earth versus old Earth theory. Both of them were theories. And we talked about carbon dating. We talked about Göbekli Tepe, which I nailed, by the way.
Nice.
One time
I
out
can't
of
even
20.
say that.
So I thought we would talk about the theory of maybe a pre-civilization before our civilization and what that would mean for science and religion today.
Well, I think with Göbekli Tepe,
Nailed it.
there's a legitimate case for. I'm not going to go with advanced civilization, but people who had started to establish culture and workings, certainly stone workings, and some pottery, and then at some point that kind of went away just a little bit, and then we have sort of a reemergence about 5,000-6,000 years ago, starting with Samaria, Egypt, some other stuff in the Middle East where, in Palestine they were still killing each other. But there's a gap that we have not that archaeology hasn't figured out what's going on. And my understanding of genetics is rather lacking, but I will actually trust to a degree some of the reports some of the articles I read, and these are not stuff off of Fox or CNN or MSNBC,
those are
a
so
major
reliable.
news carrier. I'll actually sit down and read actual scientific articles where they speak of a genetic bottleneck probably 7,000 to 10,000 years ago, where a significant portion of humanity died off.
Right.
Last night we spoke about, I think you mentioned the population was reduced down to 7,000 people. I don't think it was quite that much. I mean, just think about how much people spread out, but certainly there is a loss.
Correct, and a big one. And I find it interesting, around this time you have like the Epic of Gilgamesh, you have Noah, you have stories in every culture, and every single story revolves around a great cataclysmic event and a small group of people surviving that event.
A great flood, actually, that's consistent across all of them.
It is
a great flood.
Correct, a deluge of some sort. And every culture has it. And then these small groups of people, Noah in the in the biblical story and the Gilgamesh stories is very, very similar. You have a small group of people. South America is probably my favorite. And they have this weird old group of men coming in and educating the survivors, and then they go away. Like it's a crazy story. It's almost like they were gifted like
Time travel.
There's stories of the origin of fire that are very similar to this too, though.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
There's this idea that the angel comes down from heaven and shows man how to
Fair.
propagate fire here. So,
But
similar idea.
all of those ideas center around there was a human population that at the very least had stoneworking abilities and large stones. So that well predate the Egyptians, able to move huge stones.
Well, Göbekli Tepe is dated roughly to 15,000 years.
Correct.
Which way precedes the Egyptians.
Yeah, by like 10,000 years.
Yeah.
Maybe more than
By
that.
10-ish.
Yeah.
10-ish.
And also, I can't remember if we talked about it last night, but the Sphinx is not, the original Sphinx is not what we see it. The original Sphinx was worn by water, not by wind and sand.
That's correct.
And so, well, how long ago was there water in Egypt?
Well, the current Egyptians don't want to acknowledge that.
No, they do not. And then our original question, the science versus religion, what does that do? So if we can scientifically hypothesize that there was this civilization before that kind of got wiped out, and now we're the remnants of that, well, what does that do to our religious thought? Does that completely get rid of, Davidic lineages all the way back to Noah? Because you can trace biblically the genealogy to Adam, and that's where the young earth comes in. Because if you add up all the years they're listed in Scripture, it takes us to about 7,000 years ago.
All right.
But
those scriptures
but that
are
doesn't
written-
make sense.
Those scriptures are written by man. They're not written by God. So man has a short memory, and so we can take that as a guide, but you cannot rely on those dates accurately.
So you are, for 100%, no divine inspiration in any of the Scriptures.
No divine protection through the years.
That's
Well, I didn't
pretty
say that.
typical.
No. The scriptures are divinely inspired. However, I don't think the dates are correct and the time frames are correct. You look at how old was Noah when he died? He was 400.
He was older than that.
Yeah,
Older than
Uh,
680, something like that.
Yeah. He's an old dude.
Yep.
They didn't have calendars, so he was really just 32.
that. A lot of missing information there.
There's a lot of missing information, and so in my personal opinion, what we should take from the Bible and reading it is we should take the acts and the works that people did, like Noah, who was probably also Gilgamesh, but
That's blasphemy, sir.
But we should take those as a guide, but we shouldn't actually take the dates, like the dates and the time frames specifically, because all these things were written down by man. Look at Genesis. Who was around? Who was actually around for? Well, it was dark, and then God said, "Make it light."
I'm with you.
That was written down by man.
There are serious flaws with the dating of any side of this that you look at. Carbon dating has serious flaws.
Correct.
And has been proven to be false.
Jamie is actually correct. Carbon dating is also a good guide. But there are flaws within carbon dating because part of the way that carbon dating works is that the sun and interstellar radiation act upon nitrogen in the atmosphere and creates carbon-14 from nitrogen, which also has an atomic weight of 14, and then that carbon is unstable and it degrades over time, but it degrades at a specific rate. We know these for various different radionuclides, but carbon-14 at 5730 years, plus or minus 30. Maybe there are some days inspired a little bit more than others. I don't.
It gives no tolerance for variation is the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take the opposite side of this approach, which is divine creation that created this world, very intentionally and all this kind of thing, versus the idea of random atoms splitting at some point in time, resulting in everything. I mean, basically what you're looking at there is the idea of some cataclysmic one-time event that was a complete anomaly that changed everything.
Like an asteroid.
Just the idea that something came from nothing, that this happened one time and it never
I see what you're
happened
saying.
again.
I'm sorry.
Talking about creation here,
Okay.
whether it's God created or random Big Bang Theory creation, right? What you're relying on here is a complete anomaly. And it's kind of funny to me when I look at science on this anomaly only happened one time and never again was there ever another anomaly of any sort. And we can only gauge carbon dating, for example, on the rate of UV exposure based on what we see today.
Right.
With no idea that maybe there was variation in the past.
That's
before
fair.
we could measure this. So theory is a great word when we're talking about this because religion is a theory.
Correct.
Science is definitely a theory when it comes to this because science is not science if it's not replicatable or observable.
Correct. And I
That is a
think, we hear all the time now with the COVID nonsense that the quote unquote science is settled. And the science is never settled. It's never settled.
That science changed every 2 weeks.
It literally does. So I have some people in my family and also in my church that are young earth people. And one of the scriptures I always go to is Cain and Abel. So when Cain kills Abel, God banishes him from the garden or from wherever they're at. And he goes to the other land and finds people. So if Cain and Abel were the first siblings, well, then who are those other people?
There's more to the story.
Yeah, there's more here. And so is this figurative? If it is literal, who are those other folks?
They were blacklisted from the Bible.
And actually, that actually kind of goes to my point is that it should be used as a guide because it's the words of man, it's not the words of God.
So we believe, I believe that it is a word of God, but it's translated by man. And
That's fair.
I think that is a big problem. We were talking about in our weekly study this past week, Daniel, when his friends get thrown in the fiery furnace. And it says that there was a fourth man in there.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Hey, I'm kind of surprised you knew that.
Well, it says said it proper.
There's a fourth man.
One bad Negro.
And the translation is the fourth man was like a son of the gods. And like several of the translations, they just changed that to he was like the son of God, making it seem like Christ. Well, that's not what it says. It says he was like the sons of the gods.
Yeah, boy, bringing back my pantheon.
Correct.
Well, now if we're going to go to depends on translation, now we're getting the Mormon territory.
It's not just the Mormons, though.
No, it's not. There's literally hundreds.
This is
of
the issue that I
translations.
see with this conversation is that for centuries and centuries and centuries, the church had the corner on dogmatism when it came to what they said went. And if you didn't agree with it, well, we'll burn you until you do agree with it.
Yep.
You don't believe in this God that we're telling you to believe in, we will kill you and let you meet him, and you can settle that yourself, right?
Correct.
Oddly enough, over really the past, I'm going to say about 80 years, we've seen a shift in this, and now all of a sudden, it's the science community that is having this dogmatism, right? So now, if you don't agree with our science, you will be ostracized. You will be banned. Joe Rogan, you want to take some ivermectin?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. We will just limit your platform to talk to people. We will put a warning label on
Because
you.
the science is settled.
Because the science is settled. Much like 200 years ago, the religion was settled.
I love it.
Dogmatism is really the thorn in the side of this entire conversation, because the truth is none of us know. We can only speculate, and it's a whole lot of theory.
As I said in a sermon just a few weeks ago, dogmatism is not a religious thing; it's a human thing.
Yes,
well,
sir.
let's look at what the Catholic Church did with, for example, Galileo, when Galileo said,
Figaro?
"Well, hey, the Earth revolves around the sun. The sun doesn't revolve around us." And the Catholic Church said, "You heretic! That's right. You terrible person."
The science was
right.
settled.
And then just a few
Science was settled.
science was settled. That's
No,
brilliant.
the science wasn't settled because the church said he was wrong.
Yeah,
But are we not now on the opposite end of the spectrum, where all of a sudden now, let's take, say, climate change, for example. If you do not agree with the prescribed idea of climate change, which changes,
all the time.
40 years ago it was acid rain is coming to kill us all.
Yep, and
Then
10 years
then
before that, it
terrible
was
things.
cold.
It was
the new ice age.
New ice
Yes.
age. I mean, so. But if you don't agree with that science, you are literally ostracized from the scientific community.
Yeah.
You obviously are some kind of Neanderthal that is not a forward-thinking person.
Yep.
So science has really, honestly, adopted all the flaws of religion boldly.
I love that.
I do not disagree with you, and it's actually quite terrible that science has taken on the intolerance of religion, and actually, so God bless. I hope there's not a whole lot of Catholics listening to this.
There's a few.
Because I'm going to say the intolerance of the Catholic Church, the universal church.
But honestly, on that note, can we not say? I mean, honestly, if we look at religion over the past 20 years specifically, has religion not become more and more tolerant? There's truly almost a role reversal here.
Kind of, sort of. I would say religion in by definition, religion is intolerant. We're intolerant of things. There are certain things that we are intolerant of. And in this broad reach, I think, to overcorrect for maybe the early Catholic Church and even the early Protestantism, I think we're overcorrecting, and we're becoming so tolerant that there's no difference between quote unquote modern day Christians and everybody in the outside world. I think there has to be some intolerance. That's the whole thing. It's exclusive by nature, because you're not going to tolerate certain things. And you have to come to that point. And if you're going to tolerate everything, well, then you're just a social club. It's not a religion at that point. You're just hanging out to hang out.
Unitarian Universalist Church.
That's exactly my point. I tell my people all the time, we can fill the church tomorrow. All we have to do is offer beer, hot wings, and naked women. We could fill the church tomorrow. The question the question is, where do you draw that line, and what's the purpose? I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Leave the naked women.
Fill seats.
Beer and hot wings at church sounds like a really awesome idea.
I agree 100%. I'm working on that.
It's cold sometimes.
Working on that. So talking about Graham Hancock and the theory of Göbekli Tepe and some of the older civilizations, he's been ostracized from the scientific community for even bringing these things up. And then whenever you look at some of his research that he released in like the mid-90s, it's pretty apparent that maybe the original Egyptian theology that we have around this history is not correct. But nobody wants to admit that, because if you admit that, well, now we got to start making changes. We got to admit people were wrong.
We have to start over. We have to kind of wipe the slate clean.
That's right.
All right, guys, what do we got now? And all right, let's form a new idea. No one wants to form a new idea.
Is it Greg Ham, the guy with the ark? Art project?
No,
It's
Kenham.
Kenham. There you go, Kenham.
Canned ham.
So
That's spam.
there we
No,
spam. Yeah.
difference.
So again, New Earth guy,
Right.
obviously has a lot of science to back up his postulation here.
What he
He's
claims is science, yes.
spent a lot of money on this.
Right.
He is. I think the guy's doing it in good faith. I don't know that I necessarily agree with it, but
I don't think he's a charlatan.
you can't deny that what he's doing is legitimate. He is researching it, and the science backs up what he believes.
I agree. Here's the problem is I don't know the man, so I can't say anything about him personally. But a lot of times whenever I want to prove a point on Facebook, I'll go to the Google machine and I will find an article that fits my point of view, not go into it with an open mind trying to figure out what the science says.
If you cherry pick specific instances,
But both
and-
sides are guilty of that.
yeah,
For
Carbon
sure.
dating definitely
I
does
agree
that.
with that.
Yep, absolutely.
But at any time, if you're ever going to cherry pick one specific instance that proves your argument right and proves everyone else wrong, then you're not doing it right. Part of science is science. Depending on the subject that you engage in, there will always be an exception to the rule. Period.
Right.
Hands down. I'm a geologist, and there is a volcano in Africa that spews limestone, calcium carbonate, and for that particular compound, which actually degrades at a low temperature, it shouldn't do that, but yet there's still literally a volcano that spews limestone.
So
There is always an exception to the rule, but the problem is if you cherry pick that exception, you're doing a disservice to but not only your argument, but also anything that opposes that argument.
I agree. Something we talk about quite a bit is my fear of people who think they have the right answer. If I meet somebody, religious, scientists, whatever it is, whatever side we're coming in on, and they say for 100%, this is correct, this is the right way, I'm leery of that person. Because you could fight wars against people whenever you have that mindset. That
Wars
this is
have been fought.
many
that
of them.
They're doing that right now.
Yeah.
It's the old adage, though. Trust those that seek truth. Don't trust anyone that finds it.
I like that.
Makes sense.
I like that a lot. And so you see this with,
It's actually written down out in the shop.
Southern Baptist folks, in like the 60s, 70s, we got it figured out. This is the way we're supposed to do it. No dancing. You got to wear dresses, blah, blah, blah. Those people frighten me a little bit.
Church of Christ today.
Pastor Pinewood.
That's
you
fair.
know,
The Church of Christ today believes they've got it. The others,
Yeah, that's right. Everybody else
we're in, you're out.
Pastor
Done deal.
Pinewood, do you know the difference between a Baptist and a Methodist?
Methodists can read.
No. Methodists say hi to you in the liquor store.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, I make the joke quite often that modern day liquor stores could double their sales if they put a back door in for the Baptist.
Yeah.
Maybe y'all could consider
VIP access, buddy.
Well, I tell you what, guys, we have run long today, but I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope everybody else at home has enjoyed it. And let me just close with a couple of things. First and foremost, go find us on Facebook. You can go over to our group page, Cult of the Life Shippers. You can go ahead and join that. Have a lot of fun there. Basically, we just BS and throw memes up all the time. It's good fun.
Yes.
And even some arguments every once in a while, but not very many. It's pretty good times. If you want to support the show, please go over to Patreon at patreon.com/FWTG Podcasts, and you can join our 2 tiers there. That will get you the extra podcast once a month. That's the Hidden Revival. That's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
I think just next week, next Wednesday.
I don't know. I haven't looked at my calendar.
We'll figure it out, but that will get you that, and also it helps support the show. And if you notice, if you're watching, we have new microphones, we have new mic stands, we have a little new equipment, and that's because of
fancy.
you guys and your patronage. We really appreciate it. And last but not least, thank you to Eccentric Brewery for having us, for being our
Always.
sponsor. And we've had a great time, and we look forward to coming back in not very long.
Yeah.
Like, I might be down next week.
We love having you guys down. It's always a great time.
It really is
Good
always
beer
a good time.
drinking,
Yes.
great conversation.
Yep. And that So we were sitting around last night and it was loud. And so I just put on my phone, like, you got a great place going on here. And the ambiance and everything that happens, the people that were here, just a really cool place. So if you're in Midland, Odessa, if you're traveling through, if you find yourself here, definitely go check these guys out. Go to the website. You can see all their beers. And can they order from you guys online? Is that a possibility?
No, unfortunately.
Okay, not yet.
We don't do
State
that
of
yet.
Texas doesn't allow that.
Oh, interesting.
But
Oddly
soon-
enough, you can get beer shipped in, but you can't ship beer out.
Right. Yeah. State of Texas has some really archaic beer laws. I think they were Baptist.
There's a lot of things pretty archaic about Texas.
Yeah.
I love my state, but there's some stuff that's a little wonky at times. Anything to add, Mr. Beezy?
Wait, we had an email from one of our other sponsors, Heston.
Okay.
But I think we'll save that one.
Yeah, we'll do
for
the regular
next
episode. That'll work. All right. Last but not least, I know I've said that twice, but thank you to our wives for allowing us to do this. The lovely producer over here, and then also my wife's here in Midland. We drove down. We have to spend time. We got to make sure kiddos are taken care of. We got to make sure the dogs are being taken care of. And, it takes a little bit of work to allow us to do this. So thank you guys for allowing us to do it. We appreciate it. And vote Beezy in Pinewood for 2023. Our constituents are just two. We have a vote at the end of the year, and it's just two. The wives get a vote each.
No. I think Jamie and I are with you.
We're in.
It
Can't be any worse.
It's a pass fail. So
Yeah.
all right, man. Let's do a little ponder, and we'll get on out of here.
Okay. Ponder this. St. Patrick's Day isn't celebrated on March 17th when it falls within the Holy Week. The Holy Week is the week just before Easter. It happened in 1940 and in 2008. The day was celebrated on April 3rd and March 15th, respectively. Luckily, Patty's Day doesn't fall on Holy Week until 2060, so we're good to celebrate for the remainder of our lives without Catholic intervention. We're good. We definitely won't make it to 2160.
Unless we live as old to be like Noah.
Like Noah's.
I fear the Catholic.
Well, this is going to do it for our second St. Patrick's Day special of Fraternize with these guys. I'm Beezy the Heathen.
I'm Pastor Pinewood.
And then we have our two guests.
I'm Jamie with Eccentric Brewing Company.
Aaron with Eccentric Brewing Company.
Stay plentiful, friends. And to quote the great Friar Tuck in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, "This is grain, which any fool can eat, but for which the Lord has intended a more divine form of consumption. Let us give praise to our Maker and glory to his bounty by learning about beer." The end.
Ooh, yeah. Friar Tuck and Randy Man Macho Savage.
Randy Man.
We have another beer.
Randy Man.
The Randy
Macho
Man,
Savage.
I'm sticking with it.
That's another shirt.
Well, Friar Tuck didn't have the cool glasses that Randy Savage had.
He does now.
The staff, the cloak. The Randy Man Macho Savage.
Why did I say that?
Oh, shit. The light's still blinking.
You got something?
Yeah, I got that.
Is that a hard one? Oh, shit.
So, for some more great quotes.
Oh, yeah. They're coming in.
You got more great quotes?
I got some more great quotes.
You better hurry.
Bring it. You got
David
time.
Rains Wallace says, "Fermentation may have been a greater discovery than fire."
Ooh.
Ben Franklin said, "Beer is proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy."
Yes.
Napoleon says, "On victory you deserve beer. In defeat you need it." And an unknown monk says, "He who drinks beer sleeps well. He who sleeps well cannot sin. He who does not sin goes to heaven." Amen.
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 Welcome, folks.